Ambassador Lisa Carter stood in the same council chamber where humanity's nightmare had begun 1 year ago. But everything was different now. Human warships surrounded the neutral station. Alien delegates who had once looked down on humanity now refused to make eye contact with her. Admiral Jake Morrison stood beside her, no longer just a ship commander but the leader of humanity's galactic fleet. His uniform bore the scars of a dozen battles, and his eyes held the cold confidence of an apex predator who had learned to hunt among the stars. High Counselor Vexthak, the reptilian alien who had insulted humanity and started this war, sat hunched in his council seat. His proud scales were now dull with fear. The mighty hegemony fleet that had once threatened Earth was now hiding in their home systems, too scared to venture into open space. Honorable delegates, Lisa began, her voice carrying the authority of a species that had proven itself in blood. Humanity returns to this council not as supplicants, but as the dominant military power in the galaxy. The chamber was dead silent. Every alien present knew the truth of her words. In 1 year, humanity had gone from helpless victims to the most feared species in galactic history. General Steve Murphy entered the chamber with a datapad full of statistics. Human forces now controlled territory that had once belonged to 6 different alien civilizations. The Morvac Empire had lost half its worlds. The hegemony was down to its core systems. Even the proud Zephyrians had been forced to abandon their outer colonies. Let me share some numbers with you, Steve said calmly. In the past year, human forces have destroyed over 3,000 alien warships. We have captured another 1,500. Our casualty rate has dropped from 90% to less than 5%. Dr. Elena Martinez had prepared a presentation about human military evolution. Her research showed that humanity had undergone the fastest military development in galactic history. Human soldiers who survived their first battles were now individually superior to entire alien units. We have become what we needed to become, Elena explained to the stunned alien delegates. Your attacks forced us to evolve from peaceful explorers into the galaxy's most efficient hunters. The proof was everywhere. Captain Danny Rodriguez had perfected his ghost ship tactics so completely that entire alien fleets would retreat at the first sign of human wreckage, knowing it might be a trap. His reputation alone was enough to clear shipping lanes of enemy vessels. Admiral Sophie Turner's hunting fleets had made interstellar travel dangerous for every hostile alien species. Her ships appeared in enemy systems like ghosts, struck supply lines and communication centers, then vanished before reinforcements could arrive. No alien convoy was safe anywhere in the galaxy. The transformation of Vega Prime into a hunter's paradise had become required study at every human military academy. General Chris Mitchell had turned an entire world into a trap so perfect that alien forces would rather abandon strategic positions than risk occupation duty there. President Helen Brooks appeared on the main screen from Earth. Behind her, the lights of a planet that had unified in the face of extinction shone like a beacon of human determination. 1 year ago, you attacked us because you thought we were weak, Helen said to the assembled aliens. You were wrong. We weren't weak. We were untested. Thank you for providing that test. The industrial numbers were staggering. Human shipyards were now producing vessels at a rate that exceeded the combined output of all alien civilizations. Human weapons technology had not only caught up to galactic standards, but had surpassed them through rapid innovation and captured enemy designs. Admiral Ryan Torres commanded fleets that included ships from dozens of alien designs, all improved by human engineering. Hegemony dreadnoughts retrofitted with human modifications were faster and deadlier than anything their original builders had ever imagined. The beautiful irony, Ryan explained to the council, is that you gave us everything we needed to defeat you. Every attack taught us your weaknesses. Every battle provided us with your technology. Every victory made us stronger while making you weaker. Dr. Marcus Webb's brain research had revealed the ultimate truth about human military potential. Human neural plasticity allowed for combat adaptation at rates that no other species could match. Each generation of human soldiers was significantly more dangerous than the last. But the psychological transformation was even more significant. Humanity had discovered its true nature as a pack-hunting species perfectly adapted for interstellar warfare. The peaceful facade of human civilization had hidden the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever produced. The alien delegates listened in growing horror as Lisa outlined the new galactic order. Any species that wanted to maintain territorial integrity would negotiate through human intermediaries. Trade routes would be protected by human fleets. Disputes between alien civilizations would be resolved by human arbitrators. But we are not conquerors in the traditional sense, Lisa made clear. We don't want to rule over you. We want to ensure that no species ever again makes the mistake of attacking another species without fully understanding the consequences. Hi. Counselor Vexthak finally found his voice. It was weak and trembling, nothing like the arrogant tone he had used a year ago. What do you want from us? Jake Morrison stepped forward. His answer was simple and terrifying. Peace. Real peace. The kind of peace that comes when everyone understands who the apex predators are. The terms of the new galactic treaty were not negotiated. They were dictated. Any species that showed aggressive tendencies toward others would face human intervention. Any military buildup that threatened galactic stability would be dismantled by human forces. Any attempt to harm civilian populations would result in swift and overwhelming human retaliation. Captain Nicole Foster, now Admiral Foster, commanded the human fleets that would enforce this peace. Her ships patrolled trade routes that had been dangerous for centuries, making them safe for the first time in galactic history. The smaller alien species, the ones who had always been victims of larger empires, began to understand what human protection meant. For the first time in their history, they could develop their civilizations without fear of conquest. We came to this council seeking friendship, Lisa said as the treaty signing concluded. Instead, we discovered that sometimes friendship requires strength. We are willing to be the galaxy's guardians, but we will never again be its victims. The council session ended. High Counselor Vexthak delivered a statement that would be remembered for generations. We sought to eliminate what we thought was a minor threat. Instead, we awakened the deadliest force in the galaxy. The age of human dominance has begun, and may the stars have mercy on anyone who challenges it. The irony was perfect. Humanity had entered the galactic community seeking peace and cooperation. When that was denied, they had become something far more valuable to galactic civilization, the ultimate peacekeepers, backed by the most devastating military force in known space. The galaxy now had a new apex predator, and it was a species that valued life, protected the weak, and hunted only those who threatened the peace. For the first time in galactic history, true peace was possible. But it was a peace maintained by the constant reminder that humanity was watching, and humanity never forgot a threat to innocent life. Lisa Carter walked into the biggest room she had ever seen. The walls went up so high that she could not see the top. Lights hung in the air without any support. Around her sat creatures from 47 different worlds, all watching her with eyes that did not look human. She was the only human in the room. Her heart beat fast, but she kept her face calm. She had been Earth's voice to the galaxy for 5 years. Today might be her last day in that job. The Velkari delegate stood up. His body looked like it was made of moving glass. When he spoke, his voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. The Galactic Council has made a decision about the humans, he said. The room went quiet. Lisa could hear her own breathing. We have talked for many days. We have looked at all the things humans have done since they joined us 10 years ago. The vote is final. 31 worlds voted yes. 16 voted no. The humans must leave. Lisa felt cold. She had known this might happen, but hearing it still hurt. The glass creature kept talking. Humans are too violent. They do not follow rules. They cause trouble everywhere they go. We have decided that Earth and all humans must stay in their own star system. No human ship can leave the area around their sun. No trade, no talking, no contact. Another delegate stood up. This one looked like a giant bird with silver feathers. Let me tell you what the humans have done, the bird said. Its voice was sharp and angry. On Kepler 442b, human miners broke safety rules. They went into a dangerous mine to save workers from other worlds. 3 humans died. They could have waited for proper rescue teams. Lisa wanted to speak, but she knew she had to wait. Near the Vega system, human ships attacked our official rescue operation. They said our ships were too slow. They said people would die if they waited. They broke our laws to save refugees. The bird's feathers fluffed up with anger. And then, there was the trade route incident. Captain Jake Morrison destroyed 6 pirate ships. He did not ask permission. He did not wait for backup. He just attacked. Now Lisa could not stay quiet. Those pirates were killing innocent people. That was not his choice to make, the bird snapped back. Humans always think they know better than everyone else. They act first and ask permission later. This is why they must be removed. Other delegates began to talk. A creature that looked like a walking tree said, "Humans saved my people's colony ship when it lost power, but they used weapons that were not allowed in that space zone." A being made of what looked like water added, "Human doctors helped stop a plague on our world, but they used treatments we had not approved. They could have made things worse." Lisa listened to complaint after complaint. Every story was the same. Humans helping others. Humans saving lives. Humans breaking rules to do what they thought was right. When the complaints stopped, Lisa stood up. "You call us violent, you call us rule breakers, but look at what you just said. Every single story you told was about humans helping people, saving lives, protecting the weak." She walked to the center of the room. "Yes, we broke some rules. Yes, we did not always ask permission first, but people were dying. Children were in danger. We could not stand by and watch." The Velkari delegate's glass body flashed with different colors. This is exactly the problem. Humans think their feelings matter more than our laws. They think they can decide what is right for everyone. "Maybe we do," Lisa said. "Maybe that is what makes us human. We see someone in trouble and we help. We see something wrong and we try to fix it. If that makes us too dangerous for your galaxy, then maybe we do not belong here." The room buzzed with noise as different creatures talked to each other in languages Lisa could not understand. Finally, the Velkari delegate called for quiet. "The decision is final. All humans have 30 days to return to their solar system. Any human found outside the area around their sun after that time will be arrested. Their ships will be destroyed." Lisa nodded. "We understand. We will tell our people." As she turned to leave, a small creature that looked like a furry ball rolled up to her. It spoke in a whisper so quiet that only she could hear. "Some of us voted against this. Some of us think humans are good people. Check your bag when you get home. You will find a gift." Lisa walked out of the great chamber with her head held high. Behind her, she could hear the delegates already talking about other business. To them, the human problem was solved. But as she felt the weight of her diplomatic bag, she wondered what gift the friendly creature had left for her, and she began to think that maybe being kicked out of this galaxy might not be the worst thing that could happen to humanity. The walk back to her ship felt very long. Earth was waiting for her report. 17 billion people were waiting to learn their fate. But something inside her chest felt light, almost hopeful. If the galaxy did not want humans because they helped people and saved lives, then maybe it was time to find a better place to call home. General Patricia Webb stood in the control room of Luna Base and watched the most amazing thing she had ever seen. Across the solar system, humanity was moving faster than it ever had before. Space was full of ships going in every direction. People were working day and night. Everyone had the same goal: get ready to leave. "How many people want to go?" Patricia asked her aide. 17 million so far, Lieutenant Colonel Gary Stone answered. "More are signing up every hour. Scientists, engineers, doctors, teachers, farmers, even whole families with young children." Patricia looked at the big screen showing Earth. It looked so blue and beautiful. Soon millions of humans would never see it again. The emergency meeting of world leaders had lasted almost a full day. Presidents, prime ministers, and generals from every country on Earth sat together and made the biggest decision in human history. They would not just accept exile. They would leave on their own terms. If the galaxy thinks we are too dangerous, let's show them what dangerous really looks like, the president of Earth Federation had said. Let's build our own worlds. Dr. Marcus Thompson walked into the control room, carrying a small crystal that glowed with soft light. He had been studying it for 3 days without sleep. This is incredible, Marcus said, holding up the crystal. Ambassador Carter found this in her bag after the council meeting. It has the locations of 12 worlds that no one has claimed. They are outside this galaxy, but they can support human life. He put the crystal into a computer. The big screen filled with star maps and planet information. Look at this one. Marcus pointed to a world that looked green and blue like Earth. It has oceans, an atmosphere we can breathe, and ruins of an old civilization. The people who lived there are gone, but they left behind cities and technology. Patricia studied the information. How far away are these worlds? About 2 years of travel if we push our ships as hard as they can go, Marcus answered. It will be the longest trip humans have ever made, but we can do it. Commander Helen Brooks joined them. She was in charge of getting civilians ready for the journey. Her job was the hardest of all. We are loading everything we can, Helen reported. Food makers, medical equipment, seeds from every plant on Earth, animals in special sleep chambers, and computers with all human knowledge. But space is limited. People can only bring what they can carry. Patricia nodded. She had seen the lists of what 17 million people thought they could not live without. Pictures of family members, books, musical instruments, wedding rings, small things that meant everything. What about the children? Patricia asked. That is the hardest part, Helen said quietly. Kids born during the trip will never see Earth. They will grow up on spaceships. Their first home will be an alien world. Captain Rick Davis entered the room. He was humanity's best deep space pilot. If anyone could get the fleet to the new world safely, it was him. I have been testing the new engines, Rick reported. We took engines from our fastest military ships and made them even better. They can keep going for months without stopping. But we are going into unknown space. No maps, no rescue ships, no way home if something goes wrong. Patricia looked at all the reports coming in. Shipbuilders were working around the clock to get 300 ships ready. The biggest ships could carry 50,000 people each. Smaller ships carried supplies, equipment, and fuel. But the most amazing thing was what started happening on the 4th day after the announcement. Ships from friendly alien races began arriving in secret. They came at night, hiding from the Galactic Council. The Altarian Republic just delivered advanced plant-growing systems, reported Communications. Officer Lisa Park. They say it is a gift for our new worlds. More secret deliveries came every day. The Centauri Federation gave them star maps of the space between galaxies. A race called the Trade Confederation slipped them military shields that could protect their ships from attacks. Why are they helping us? Patricia asked Ambassador Carter during one of their planning meetings. Lisa smiled for the first time since returning from the council. 16 races voted against exiling us. They believe we are good people. They want us to succeed, Dr. Susan. Blake, the expedition's top scientist, presented her report on keeping people alive during the long journey. We have closed systems that recycle air and water, artificial gravity that spins the ships, and we have doctors, teachers, and counselors on every ship to help with medical and mental health. Colonel Kevin Wright commanded the military escort ships. His job was to protect the fleet from any dangers they might find. The council ships are watching us, Kevin reported. They want to make sure we really leave, but they are keeping their distance. I think some of them respect what we are doing. As the days passed, Patricia watched humanity prepare for the impossible. Families said goodbye to relatives who chose to stay on Earth. Scientists packed years of research into data storage units. Engineers designed new tools for building on alien worlds. But what impressed Patricia most was the spirit of the people. Instead of being sad about leaving Earth, they were excited about what they might find. Children drew pictures of alien animals they hoped to see. Adults made plans for new cities they would build. On day 25, Patricia received a message that made her smile. It was from the leader of the Altarian Republic sent through secret channels. The galaxy will be smaller without humans in it, but the universe will be bigger with humans exploring it. Go well, friends. Show the stars what humanity can do. 5 days left until departure. Patricia looked out at the fleet gathering near Earth's moon. 300 ships ready to carry 17 million people farther from home than any human had ever gone. Soon, they would find out if humanity was truly as remarkable as their friends believed. Admiral Stephen Parker stood on the bridge of the New Horizon and looked out at the most amazing sight in human history. 300 ships floated in space around him. Some were as big as cities, carrying 50,000 people each. Others were smaller, packed with supplies, equipment, and everything humanity would need to build new homes among distant stars. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Amy Foster from her station. Her voice was calm, but Stephen could hear the excitement underneath. Behind them, Earth looked smaller than it ever had before. Stephen had been born on that blue world 60 years ago. Now he was leaving it forever, and he was not sad. He was proud. "Distance to Galactic Council monitoring ships?" Stephen asked. "They are holding position at the edge of the solar system," reported Colonel Kevin Wright. 40 ships watching us leave. They want to make sure we keep our promise." Stephen nodded. The Council did not trust humans to leave quietly, but they also did not try to stop the secret help that friendly aliens had been giving. Maybe some of them hoped humanity would succeed. In the engine room of the New Horizon, Chief Engineer Robert Kane ran final checks on the revolutionary new drive system. The engines were twice as powerful as anything humans had built before. They had to be to carry the fleet between galaxies. "Engines are running perfect," Robert reported over the communication system. "All ships show green lights. We are ready to make history." Dr. Susan Blake walked through the corridors of the colony ship Freedom, checking the systems that would keep 25,000 people alive for 2 years. Gardens grew under artificial sunlight. Water recyclers hummed quietly. The ship was like a small piece of Earth floating in space. "Children's section reports ready," Dr. Blake said into her communicator. "Schools are set up. Playgrounds are secure. We even have a small zoo with animals from Earth." On the military escort ship Guardian, Colonel Kevin Wright watched his screens for any sign of trouble. His job was to protect the civilian ships from pirates, hostile aliens, or anything else they might meet in the empty space between galaxies. "Weapon systems ready. Shields at full power," Kevin reported. "If anything tries to hurt our people, they will regret it." Captain Jennifer Hall commanded the scout ships that would go ahead of the main fleet. Her fast little ships would explore dangerous areas and find safe paths for the big colony vessels. "Scout group ready for jump," Jennifer said. "We will see you on the other side, Admiral." Stephen looked around his bridge at the men and women who would help him lead humanity to a new home. Communications Officer Amy Foster monitored messages from all 300 ships. Navigation Officer Tony Martinez calculated the exact course to their destination. Weapons Officer Lisa Murphy was ready to defend the fleet if needed. "Open a channel to all ships," Stephen ordered. Amy worked at her controls. "Channel open, sir. All ships are listening." Stephen took a deep breath. What could he say to 17 million people who were about to leave everything they had ever known? "People of the fleet," he began. "Today we start the greatest journey in human history. We are not running away. We are not giving up. We are choosing our own path among the stars." He looked out at Earth one more time. "The galaxy voted to exile us because they said we were too dangerous, too willing to help others, too ready to fight for what is right. They were correct. We are all of those things, and we are proud of it." The communication channel carried his voice to every ship, every family, every person in the fleet. "In 2 years we will reach 12 worlds that wait for us. We will build new cities, we will plant new gardens. Our children will grow up free, on worlds where being human is not a crime." Stephen paused, thinking of all the friends they were leaving behind, all the aliens who had helped them in secret. "We go in peace, but we do not go quietly. Let the galaxy remember that humans never surrender. We adapt. We overcome. We build something better." He turned to Amy. "Signal all ships. Begin the exodus." One by one, the great ships activated their engines. The space around Earth filled with light as drives powered up. The smaller ships went, first disappearing into hyperspace in flashes of blue-white energy. Then the colony ships began to jump. The Freedom vanished, carrying its 25,000 souls toward an uncertain future. The Hope followed, then the Unity, then the Dream. Stephen watched as 2/3 of the fleet disappeared into hyperspace. Soon, only the largest ships remained. "New Horizon is the last ship," Amy reported. "All other vessels have successfully jumped to hyperspace." Stephen looked at his crew. These people had chosen to leave Earth and follow him into the unknown. He would not let them down. "Take us out, Mr. Martinez." The navigation officer's hands moved over his controls. "Course set for the 12 worlds. Jump in 10 seconds. Stephen looked at Earth one final time. Somewhere down there, 15 billion, humans continued their lives working and loving and dreaming under blue skies. The fleet carried only a small part of humanity with it, but maybe that was enough. Maybe 17 million people could show the universe what humans could really do when they were free to be themselves. "Jump initiated," Martinez announced. The stars outside stretched into lines of light. Earth vanished behind them. The New Horizon and its cargo of dreams and hopes accelerated toward the edge of the galaxy. Behind them, the Council monitoring, ships watched the last human vessel disappear into hyperspace. Ahead of them lay 2 years of journey through empty space, ending at worlds no human had ever seen. The exodus had begun. Humanity was free. Commander Daniel Torres floated in the engine room of the colony ship Hope, sweat floating around his head in tiny drops. The artificial gravity had failed again, and he was working upside down to fix the power systems. Around him, his engineering team moved like dancers using handholds and magnetic boots to work in zero gravity. "How bad is it this time?" asked Engineer First Class Mary Johnson as she handed him a new power coupling. "Bad enough," Daniel replied, connecting the new part. "These engines were never meant to run this hard for this long. We have been pushing them at maximum power for 8 months. They are starting to break down." The journey between galaxies was testing humanity in ways no one had expected. The ships were holding together, but just barely. Every day brought new problems that needed creative solutions. On the medical ship, Mercy, Dr. Rachel Green worked with a different kind of breakdown. The long journey through empty space was hard on people's minds and hearts. Some days, the endless black outside the windows made people feel hopeless. "Mrs. Patterson, how are you feeling today?" Rachel asked an older woman who sat staring out at the stars. "I keep thinking I made a mistake," Mrs. Patterson said quietly. "I will never see my garden on Earth again. I will never smell roses or hear birds sing." Rachel sat down next to her. This conversation happened every day with different people. Leaving Earth was the hardest thing any of them had ever done. "Tell me about your garden," Rachel said gently. Mrs. Patterson's face brightened a little. "I had the most beautiful roses, red ones and white ones and yellow ones. And I had a small pond with goldfish." "Did you bring seeds?" "Yes, a few." Mrs. Patterson smiled for the first time in days. "The scientists say the new world has good soil. Maybe I can grow roses there too." Rachel nodded. Hope was the most important medicine she could give. In the children's section of the ship New Dawn, 8-year-old Peter Wilson looked at the pictures on his tablet computer. They showed Earth, with its blue oceans and white clouds. Peter had been born on Earth, but he could barely remember it. "Will the new world look like this?" he asked his teacher, Miss Sandra Lopez. "Maybe," Sandra answered. "It will have oceans and land and an atmosphere we can breathe, but it will be different too. New animals, new plants, new things to explore." Peter thought about that. "Will I like it?" Sandra looked at the boy who would spend most of his childhood on a spaceship. "I think you will love it. You will be one of the first humans to see a new world. You will help build the first cities there." On the bridge of the New Horizon, Admiral Stephen Parker studied reports from all across the fleet. The good news was that no ships had been lost. All 300 vessels were still traveling together toward their destination. The bad news was that everything was wearing out faster than expected. Fusion reactors on 40 ships are showing stress fractures, reported Chief Engineer Robert Kane. Food production is down 15% because the artificial suns in the gardens are failing, and we have used 30% more medical supplies than planned. Stephen rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept well in months. The responsibility of keeping 17 million people alive weighed on him every day. What about the children born during the journey, he asked. 237 babies so far, answered Dr. Blake over the communication system. All healthy. The kids are adapting to ship life better than the adults. Stephen smiled at that news. The children gave everyone hope for the future. Captain, Jennifer Hall's voice came through the speakers from her scout ship. Admiral, we have reached the halfway point. Long-range sensors are starting to pick up the target star system. We should have detailed scans in 6 months. That was the best news Stephen had heard in weeks. For the first time, their destination was more than just numbers in a computer. It was becoming real. On the agricultural ship Harvest, Farmer Bill Thompson worked in gardens that stretched for kilometers inside the ship. Under artificial sunlight, wheat and corn and vegetables grew in endless rows. These plants would provide food for the journey and seeds for the new world. But the plants were struggling too. Without real soil and natural sunlight, many crops grew smaller than they should. Bill worried they would not have enough food if the journey took longer than expected. How are the fruit trees doing? Asked his assistant, Janet Brown. Better than the grain crops, Bill answered, checking an apple tree that was trying to bloom in the artificial spring inside the ship. Trees seem to handle the artificial environment better than annual plants. In the military section of the UE fleet, Colonel Kevin Wright drilled his soldiers every day. They did not know what they might face on the new worlds, but they would be ready for anything. Remember, Kevin told his troops, we are not conquerors. We are protectors. Our job is to keep the civilians safe while they build new homes. Young Lieutenant Tom Clark raised his hand. Sir, what if the old civilization on the target world left behind dangerous things? Then we handle it, Kevin answered simply. That is what soldiers do. As the months passed, something wonderful began to happen. The fleet, which had started as 300 separate ships full of strangers, became something more. People from different ships began to work together on problems. Engineers shared ideas. Doctors consulted with each other. Teachers created lessons that children on all the ships could share. Dr. Marcus Thompson, who had studied the crystal that led them to the 12 worlds, made a discovery that excited everyone. The ruins on the primary world are not just buildings, he announced during a fleet-wide broadcast. They are a complete infrastructure. Power plants, manufacturing centers, even what looks like spaceports designed for ships our size. The people who lived there built everything we need to start a civilization. Stephen felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Maybe, just maybe, this impossible journey would succeed. But the hardest part was still ahead. They had to actually reach the new worlds, land safely, and figure out how to live there. And they had to do it all without any help from the galaxy they had left behind. Looking out at the stars that grew brighter every day, Stephen made a promise to himself and to the 17 million people who had trusted him with their lives. They would not just survive this journey. They would make it the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure.